One of the biggest business mistakes I think that we can all make as small business operators is thinking that we are prepared for an emergency or sudden situation that presents itself. But one of the biggest lessons that I learned over the years is that being prepared doesn't mean that you're ready to fix something. It means that you're trying to prevent that situation from developing in the first place. Because when do things break? Not when it's convenient for you and I. It happens at the lunchtime. It happens Friday late afternoon when you can't get a repair person in. It happens overnight. It happens on the weekend when the only repair people that are available are ready to charge you double time. But how you go about responding rather than reacting is key to getting you back online and back moving forward. Preparedness means having important contact information ready to go when you need it. Preparedness is having the parts before they break. Preparedness means having some emergency equipment and supplies ready to go. You need a plan in place so that you're not stumbling around looking for all this contact and all this valuable information that you need to access during a time of an emergency or situation that comes up. My name is Eric, and in this video I want to share with you some things that I learned over 12 years operating a high profit, high revenue sandwich shop. Lessons that I learned that I could pass on to you that'll hopefully help you avoid some costly mistakes. So without further ado, let's get into it. Situations at the shop don't present themselves when it's convenient to you and I. They present themselves when it's least convenient. Let me share a few examples of situations that occur and how we can prevent them and be ready for them. If you're in the food industry business, there's one thing that you know for certain. It's that refrigeration is king. Refrigeration is everything. You got to stay on top of your cooler maintenance. There are several things that you need to do on a daily, weekly, and quarterly basis. Maintenance is something that can get overlooked when you have new equipment and you first open up. Everything's new, everything's functioning properly, so you may not be thinking that that's a top priority, but it is every day because these temperatures can go out of line at any time. One thing for certain is you're going to want to check your temperatures from the moment you arrive through several times throughout the day, through right before you leave. These days, they have sensors that you could attach to your coolers, to your sandwich prep station, and every refrigerated unit that you want to monitor, and you set it up, you tie them up, and you sync them with the app that you have on your smartphone so you can check these temperatures even when you're not at the shop. And these sensors and apps work incredibly well. You could be at the store, you could be off one day, you could be at home about to hit the pillow, and then you think, what's the temperature of that turkey? Dial in, 38, 39 degrees, we're looking good. And then go to sleep soundly. Your cooler and your sandwich prep tables have condenser units and fans in the back. Make sure that you keep these debris-free, dust-free, so it doesn't pile up because that blocks the airflow. And then guess what? Now you've got things overheating. When they overheat, you're in trouble, right? Things start to freeze up, your temperatures go all out of whack, and you lose product. You get the pressurized air duster bottles and you spray them out and you wipe them lightly and easily, and then you're good. And if you're checking your temperatures regularly and you see that there's a temperature drift, right? The temperature's getting slowly higher, drifting higher every day. Don't ignore that. That's temperature drift. That's something is the matter. Something's going wrong. Call up the professionals. Have them out there before your unit goes down. You need to have a backup one in place. Always have 2 sandwich prep stations. You may only use 1. You may use 2 or 3. But I'm saying always have yourself a backup because you can at least operate on 1. But if you have none, you're done. And let's not ignore broken door gaskets, right? Seal gaskets around your main walk-in boxes or in your sandwich prep station around the doors. If you ignore those tears, well, now you have temperature leak, right? All your refrigeration is leaking out. You're wasting refrigerant. Your machine is working harder to keep the temperatures up so the motor's strained, and then your food is slowly drifting out of temperature range and you're gonna have to throw it out, right? So you gotta check these, you gotta keep these replacements hanging around. They're easy to install yourself. You can go onto a restaurant supply store and just find these general ones. I think I even found some on Amazon. That was really key because they come in, you pull them out and you plug the new ones in, you press them in, done. $35, $40 part, and you could change it regularly as you see them tear. Like all problems, you can solve them when they're small, right? They're inexpensive and easy. As it grows, as it's left unattended, like all things in life, it grows, the weeds grow, and then guess what? Now you got a major problem on your hand. It's going to be a lot more expensive and a lot more downtime that goes with it too. Some of these things aren't do-it-yourself things like actual walk-in repair. Leave that to the pros. But for the simple things, you can take care of it. Gaskets, maintenance, so on and so forth. And with regards to your sandwich prep tables too, teach your staff to always keep those lids closed. Sometimes they have a habit of leaving them up and walking away. So it's all in the training, right? You train them. That stays closed to maintain the temperature there. When those lids are up, all day long, that motor's working hard to keep that refrigerator at a certain temperature, right? So when we close it, we help out the motor. We keep the food in refrigeration line, right? Because the temps do drift up a little bit when you have it up. If you ever suffer a power outage, and most likely you will at some point, so you need to have a backup plan in place for what you do with your refrigerated products in your cold box. One pro tip lesson that I learned that I'm happy to share with you is know your walk-in cooler dimensions and your walk-in freezer dimensions. Also, know where your dry ice supply company is nearby. If you know the dimensions of your cooler box or your walk-in freezer, this is very important, and your sandwich stations, you could run to your local dry ice supply shop. Talk to them about your dimensions. Let them know what you need, and they'll set you up with the appropriate amount of dry ice to use in a power outage. And you'll see that it works well and gets you out of a jam if you don't have like a backup kitchen someplace or somehow to store this food. Keep tabs and take note of your temperature gauge and keep writing down your temperatures as you have the dry ice inside of there. So if your power goes down, instruct your staff not to open the cooler doors, not to open the refrigerator doors. Leave them closed. Take note of the temperature, right? Look at the temperature gauge, find out what the reading is, write that down, make note of it. You can save thousands in product cost loss just by simply implementing a simple emergency procedure just like this one using dry ice. Microwave ovens, microwave ovens, guess what? You're gonna use them. You're gonna use them to reheat your previously cooked bacon or to warm your meat or something. You're always gonna want a pretty powerful commercial one, like anything from like 1,000 watts to like 1,200 watts is good. That's what I always use, and those are pretty powerful. But guess what? You use them every day. Use them all the time, right? They're workhorses. They're going for it every day. And then, kapow, right in the middle of lunch rush, something will happen. And usually it's just like overuse. They last about 2 years, right? 2 years, believe it or not. You might squeeze out an extra year on those, but guess what? You're also going to get some that are going to cap out on you after a year. That's just the way it is, and that's just the way it goes. What you want to do is have yourself a backup. So when you're out about at your local restaurant supply store, or if you're online, have yourself a brand in line, do your research beforehand. You don't have to pay that tip-top Magoo price, right? $700, $800, $1,500 for a commercial microwave oven, because you can find some that are in the $300 and $400 range that work just fine and give you a lot of output and take care of business. What you want to do is reduce your amount of downtime with that, right? The last thing you want to do is have to stop, run out to the store in an emergency during a busy lunch rush, try to find something, bring it back, sanitize it, get it into service. By the time that happens, the lunch rush is over. Your shop ran without you in pure chaos. You were out stressed. Things not good, right? This isn't the way to do it. The way to do it is have it ready to go at the shop. So always be looking for deals in the neighborhood, online, or know your local restaurant supply shop rep. Talk to them. They'll match online prices for you. Every time I'd go in, I knew mine very well. He knew where I was from. He would help me out matching online prices, so I would save hundreds of dollars, whether I buy small wares or larger things, right? Blenders, toasters, scales. With regards to blenders, these are plastic, the NSF commercial type. These will just crack on you all the time. The base cracks, the lid might crack. That cracks from usage, from pressing it, from washing it. These parts go missing, these parts break. And when you don't have any and you need to blend up a sauce or blend something right away that afternoon or that morning because you're out of something, that's when it's gonna break. Trust me, that's when it breaks. Portion weighing scales will go out on you too, so you either need to have backup batteries or a backup plug or one whole new unit ready to go if one gives out on you. Many times there's previously used commercial equipment back there too, like sandwich prep tables or slicers. Look at those. They're generally in great shape. They've been sanitized. They've been looked at. Sometimes they'll have some kind of warranty still attached to them, but they're usually lightly used and in good shape, ready to go. And that equipment needs to be NSF certified. If it isn't, when the health department comes in, they will notice that right away and they'll write that down on your inspection report. So make sure you avoid that, get the right equipment, the right time, at the right price. Your slicer, that's the workhorse of your shop, right? There's no getting around that. You need that every day to slice up all your fresh product. What happens when it goes out? What do you do, right? Again, how are you going to find that out? It's going to be 10 a.m. at your shop, and then your staff member is going to come over and say, "Boss, the slicer's not working. You go, what do you mean it's not working? It just blew out. It made a funny sound. The last few days I've been hearing this funny sound, and then now it's not working. Well, okay. So your slicer needs to be sharpened weekly, once a week. Doesn't take long. It takes like a minute. And you want to oil it once a month. Just takes a few seconds, but you have to have the oil. So don't run out of oil. If you do, you can find it on Amazon for like $5 or $6. But have a deeper plan in place also, because that motor can go out and the cord in the back can and will go out. One day it just poof, it gives out on you, and then that's it. You have to have a repair person ready to go. You have to see if you can get a backup. Some of these repair companies will rent you one, but don't rest on that. Many times they don't. One thing that you can look into is getting a smaller, less expensive slicer. So it's just going to help you get through that day or a couple of days while your other one's being repaired. Not everybody repairs slicers though, so be sure that you know beforehand and have this in your emergency contacts who it is that is going to repair your slicer when it goes down. With regards to small wares, there's all kinds of small wares. Always buy them before you actually need them. Check your supplies regularly. Does your cutting board need to be replaced? Health departments looks at those too. They want to make sure they look clean. They don't cost too much, 10, 12 bucks right down at your restaurant supply store. So buy them regularly. So you're just putting a new one in and throwing out the old one as time goes by. You always want replacements of bottles and bottle caps on hand because they break or they go missing in the washing cycle. And then suddenly you're lacking bottles for all your sauce preps that you need. Train your staff to inform you that if you have more needs because you're lacking bottles or bottle caps, or you need some new scoopers because one broke, or your can opener broke. A can opener breaking can prevent you from opening certain cans like jalapenos or tuna at your shop. So you want to have a backup of those because they will go out. They go out all the time. And when they go out and now you have to run to the store and come back, that's at least a 1 hour round trip that you've lost valuable time helping out at the shop or being present. So these are things that you want to look at. These small wares are very important too. You just want to have these necessary supplies ready to go and in good use at all times. Something that might sound obvious, but we may neglect to build a proper one, is to have like facility preparedness, right? Like having a toolbox handy and ready to go with the necessary tools, not a bunch of things that you don't need. You're always going to need a power drill for sure on hand, a power screwdriver, a power drill. So you always need that for something at your shop. You always need a wrench, a pipe wrench, some duct tape, backup bathroom door handles because public use, in and out so many times a day. Before you know it, they're broken. They break all the time. Your toilet tank flusher as well. That thing's getting used over and over and over all day long. And then suddenly you walk into your bathroom, you hear a hissing sound. What's that? Now the water's running because the chain is broken or the lever is broken inside. And if you don't have a backup, that hissing will continue, meaning that water is going to keep on leaking out, and that's a costly mistake. I learned this because I heard the hissing. I was too busy to go deal with it. I heard it. I had an idea that it was leaking. I learned how to jiggle it around a little like we all do, and then guess what? 30 days later, I got a bill, $3,000. Over 10 times the amount that I would normally pay. I used to pay about $250 to $300, and I got a bill that was over $3,000 because that thing was running all the time. And one of the most important aspects and lessons of being ready at your shop for anything that can happen is your contact list. Your contact list on your phone, possibly on your laptop, and a hard copy of one at the shop. You have the hard copy handy, ready for access. So if you need to go somewhere else to use a telephone or somebody else's location to use their laptop, at least you have all the contact infos there. You want it handy and ready when the situation develops, right? Your slicer goes down, boom. You don't want to think about things. You want to call the repair person, boom. You want to have it handy and ready to go. If your cooler goes down, downtime is everything when it comes to refrigerator products. The last thing you want to do is spend an hour searching online, making phone calls, waiting for people to get back to you. You want to have that handy. And if you have the direct line to a specific service individual, see if you can get that too. Many of them work independently as contractors on the side on weekends or off hours. So if you get their phone number, you already know who they are, and they already know everything about you, where you're located and everything, and they'll meet you there. So have a plan in place so everyone knows what to do in case of an emergency procedure. Regarding your equipment, you should also have one obviously for authorities like fire department, 911, police department, things of that nature. And one final area that might not be talked about so often, but I'm going to say here is your funding. Your funding. Things happen, and as we've mentioned already, they happen at the worst time. And funny enough, as the saying goes, they happen in threes. It's kind of like that. When one thing goes, another thing will go, sometimes another and another. So they're going to happen. One of the best things you could do is from month one, you start socking away that little emergency repair, emergency equipment replacement fund, because it's going to happen and you don't want to be caught off guard when it happens or when many of them happen. You treat it as rent, right? With rent, you pay whatever it is that your rent is, right? Just add an extra $50 or so, an extra $75, whatever you can afford to put to the side, so that when you have to pony up for a new sandwich cooler, good thing you were saving, you've got it ready to go and it won't hurt. That's really important. Something I had to learn through the years too. It's not easy to do, especially at first when you're first starting out, or if you're just kind of tight with the margins there, it's kind of hard to think of. But it's very important, just like in our everyday lives, to just try to sock away a little, because emergencies can and will happen. And you want to be as prepared as you can as possible. But when they do, you're ready to go, and that's not an issue. All right, guys, that's all I want to share with you today. I hope that you found this useful. Feel free to drop a like or a comment or subscribe to the channel. It really helps out, and I hope to bring you some more. I'll talk to you soon.